Greetings, Dungeon Delvers, and welcome to yet another edition of Descent into the Void, a tale of D20s, where 7 friends journey together to tell a story of mythic proportion.
Gather round, gather round. Let me tell you a tale of life and death, of joy and sorrow, a tale of D20s.
Last time, Liberators, you had accepted a quest from ArrowWatch to escort a caravan carrying precious holy crystals and weapons. Driven by Glem, the gnome, you began your multi-day journey east on the open roads of Shiveren. During your second day, you ran into an empty campsite that was still fresh with activity. Ambushed by the succubi twins duo, Balin and Jalen, you defended yourselves, but found that Jalen, using a dark melody of some kind, poisoned your crystal of symphony that protected you from the forces of darkness that had encompassed the land. With no barrier, demons began to attack from all sides, planting the heaven seed that was given to him at the faithful. King, with the aid of Monaco, began to use their divine prowess to force it to grow into a heaven's fruit, similar to the miracle at Enceladus' cave, while Duran, Syl, and Cal, and Horatio defended them. After a long-fought battle, Monaco was able to tip the scales in your favor as another miracle was performed. The heaven's root began to grow into a small evergreen tree, dropping dew on the stonehead-shaped altar of crystals you had placed around it. This caused not as massive as the effect on Frostbite, a large barrier of symphony to be cast, pushing back the demons to the edge of your vision. So, Liberators, you're safe for now and tired. The smell of burning flesh covers the camp as 2 tents are currently ablaze. The yips and cackles of demons no longer attacking your eardrums, but an eerie silence is left upon the land. The beauty of the heaven's root tree glimmering all around you. What do you do?
Duran pulls himself up to his feet after we were able to survive our grueling battle with the demons, dusts himself off and looks around and says, "Any more demons for us to slay? Ha!" And I use a second wind.
I'll say, now that our prayers have been heard and the tree fully sprouts its dew, and then I'll look to Minako and I'll say, with these crystals here, this place is sanctuary. We should be safe. Thank you for praying with me, cousin. It means a lot. Cal, you too.
I wish I could have done more.
I didn't think it was possible. I really thought we were all gonna die.
Now you understand the miracle, and you have witnessed it. Have faith. We are special, and we all bring something unique to this mix, and we could not have done it without each other. They guide us, and King looks up as he says that, in mysterious ways.
I look to the ground and say, "Indeed, in mysterious ways."
Well, someone better inform the daimyo of what happened here.
Do we have another messenger, Bird?
Horatio's walked off, so he's not with you guys at the moment. He's closer to the tents on fire, trying to figure out a way to put the fire out.
Oh, are there still disasters around us, like fires and such?
Yeah, there's 2 tents that are on fire.
Noticing that Horatio's over there looking at the fire, Syl's gonna walk over to him. "I have a plan, Mr. Horatio."
Yeah, what is it? So let me hear it.
I know it's a magical fire, and I'm not too well versed in arcane, but maybe I could pick up enough dirt and dump it on top of it, try to smother it.
Yeah, that shouldn't be bad. You should try that.
The only thing I'm gonna need is probably something to carry the dirt in, because, only taking a handful at a time might take a little bit of a while.
There's no need for that. I'll walk over to them and I'll say, "Are you not skilled in basic arcane?" And then I'll wave my hands in a similar pattern that you've seen before, Horatio, and use prestidigitation to start to snuff out the fires. It has the ability to light or snuff candles, torches, or campfires. So I feel like with the 2 of us, we should be able to put out a small blaze.
I do not have prestidigitation, but I do know that's a good spell. I believe with Syl's help and your skill, we should be able to do this quickly.
Then we have graves to dig and the dead to bury. We mustn't linger.
Wait, how many graves is that?
How many tents were there?
Well, when you look around, you see there's 8, 9 tents.
We're gonna have to keep digging.
Minako, is there tradition of this land? Or I'll look to Cal as well and say, is there some custom we should follow for burying the dead?
She kind of looks around and for a moment really takes in how much death there is, and it seems to hit her, and she says, I don't know what we should do for this many people. This was so many. I'll show you what I know.
All right, so what is everyone doing? So is anyone tending to the flames?
Horatio will take well, I assume we're taking like a long rest since we're not really doing anything large exertion.
Well, putting out the fire would be a strenuous activity, so wouldn't consider that. But if you're not putting out the fire, then this all could be counting towards a long rest if you plan on resting here for the evening.
Let's burn the bodies. A funeral pyre for this amount. You never know what could happen.
All right, I will go gather some tinder.
Doran, help me with a few of these logs. We can build a pit with the graves that were dug and get a good base for a fire. We're going to be busy.
King, what was your plan for the fires? You said this magic? And then she sort of waves her hand and illustrates that she knows prestidigitation.
Oh, yes. Oh, if you understand it, I'm sure we could save them lots of laborious effort. Can you help me snuff out these fires? If we sort of do it together, I think that we can do it much quicker than they would. And I'll gesture towards Syl and Horatio digging dirt.
Yeah. She walks with you up to them and says, please do not trouble yourselves anymore. The bodies will require some more respect. Please attend to them while we address the fires. And then she'll just wave her hand and one of the fires starts to dim.
And I will assist and circle the opposite way and try and snuff it out.
And Duran is going to help Cal. And Cal was going to help. We were going to move those bodies to those graves, right?
Yeah, I wanted to bring some logs over first. That way, we have a good base for a fire.
So if you guys are gonna burn it, it could either be a giant hole or it could be a whole bunch of little holes. Doesn't really matter to me, but a grave nonetheless.
One large ceremonial burning pit. I'll say some rites before we do everything. He kind of looks very somber at the idea of this and kind of goes to help grab some logs with Duran.
As we gather the logs, Duran is going to look a little saddened and confused as we go in the process and turn to Cal and say, Cal, I do not understand the gods as deeply as King and others do, but how is it that we are chosen and yet the gods let this happen to others?
That's why it's important for us to go correct these wrongs. It's like Kalemvor put me here on purpose to make sure these people who had their lives stolen from them can at least be at peace, and their physical forms and shells can't be taken back by any kind of abyssal demonic presence. There's all kinds of things in this area that would take a dead corpse and just make it a part of its own body, or take it and turn it into some kind of zombie. It's better, especially since we're not in a city or a town or anything with a regular people presence. It's better that we prevent further defiling, and that way they can return to the earth in peace.
I will do everything I can to follow your lead. What has happened here is most horrific.
And truly, I feel the need to remove myself from this site. I'm so sorry. And she kind of like covers her face and tries to leave and goes back to the cabin to be alone for a bit. Or not the cabin, the carriage.
All right, so we start moving logs over to this 20-foot plot and prep it.
Horatio would have the methods that he summoned after he sees that King put out the fires, just start grabbing logs and help you guys out.
I'd say then once we have like a solid base, logs kind of going crisscross, we start gently placing bodies of the deceased, adding some kindling that King said he was collecting, and making sure everything's set.
All right, so you all begin to bury the bodies into the pit that Syl has made. I mean, are you going into every single tent and pulling out each body?
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Everyone who's going into a tent, roll me investigation checks.
When they bring the bodies over, Syl's probably gonna check to see if they have like any adventuring tags or identification or whatever, and he's gonna collect all that.
Damn, these rolls.
All right, so you all go into the tents, and it looks like an ordinary burlap like tent. Inside of it, you see makeshift beds, and other things that show that adventurers were sleeping here for a temporary amount of time. This looks to be a camp that they used just for a temporary stay before heading on. Each tent looks to have about 6 mangled bodies in it each, all types of shapes and sizes. But you can tell most of them are tieflings, and still as you begin to look amongst the bodies, you do see identification on them, though it's an infernal.
That's fine. I'll mention it. I'm going to collect all their tags or their IDs because I feel like people should know who died here, if anything else. But I obviously cannot read these as they're in some other language.
So carrying the bodies, using different forms of magic and just grabbing them piece by piece, some time passes and you're able to get together the, let's say, almost 60 plus bodies and pieces to the large hole that has been dug. Placing them all in there, you begin to do your ritual of burning them with the logs and other items that you have brought together.
Yeah, as we get close enough to initiate the burning, Duran is going to ignite them with Firethorn if he can, in an almost symbolic gesture. But a quick question before that: can we tell when we're inside of those tents removing the bodies if these bodies have come from like a secondary site and been moved from a long distance, or were these guys killed somewhere nearby? Can we tell them with our investigation checks when we were looking through the tents?
You can tell that the bodies were killed here and piled up together in these tents, possibly by the things that killed them, maybe to eat them later or do some type of dark ritual. You're not sure, but they died fresh here, not too long from when you had first entered the camp.
About how long does all this take?
Definitely a few hours. Probably, I would say it takes you well into the evening at this point. Although, the sun doesn't change, you can tell that it's getting into early evening times.
Manaka spends most of that time in the carriage, sort of turning away from all the violence around her. But about an hour or two in, when it starts to be late and ready, she'll come out to help deliver prayers over the bodies.
I was actually coming to get you.
It was just so much death.
Besides everyone who's gathering the bodies and burying them, is there anything else anyone else is doing before Duran sets it ablaze?
While we're getting everything finalized for the prayers, I'm going to take my mess kit and grab whatever salt I have and make at least a very thin circle around all of the bodies. Kalimvor, welcome these people. Let them rest in death for what they suffered in life. Minako?
May whatever sorrows you had in life be felt only comfort in the blanket of your afterlife.
Before we ignite the bodies, we've already had someone who can speak Infernal take abreast of all the tags and stuff, right?
No, you did not. Is that something you would like to do?
Yeah, and we all went into separate tents and got stuff and saw those similar sites, right?
Yes, you all rolled high enough where you all also would have seen the identification and tags that they would have had on them. Is up to you if you would have collected them or not, but still definitely has.
Duran would have tried to move the bodies and kept them on them because he can't read Infernal. And maybe someone who can identify who these people are.
I mean, I can definitely read Infernal, so I would be able to read the names of these people if that's what is written on the tags.
Cal, you also have been searching in there, and if you have been looking at the tags as well, you notice that they are adjudicators as well as mercenaries. Adjudicators are the personal knights of Queen Camilla.
Okay. These were all warriors. They were all knights of the Queen. And mercenaries that I would also guess were hired to aid the Queen in whatever she had these people out here for.
What did she have these people out here for?
That's a great question. This might be something we ask about whenever we get back.
Does anyone have any other final words?
The only final word that Duran is going to have is the activation word for Firethorn.
All right, so in that case, Duran, you ignite Firethorn after everyone says their prayers, and you set ablaze the wood that's within the pit. Almost instantly, this is more of a magical fire. You see everything in there light up. The first thing you notice is the crackling of their skin burning then you smell the putrid smell of flesh. But putting that back, as you're all adventurers and used to such things, you solemnly put your heads down hoping that the spirits of these warriors find their place in the afterlife. So the rest of the evening is yours, Liberators. What would you all like to do? If not, you could rest here or continue on your journey, although you don't have any horses to carry the rest of the crystals, and the weapons are in the caravans.
Wizard Horatio, how far are we to the destination point we were taking these crystals?
DM?
Using your keen mind, you remember it's about a 4-day journey, and you've been 2 days, so you have a couple more days left.
So we should still have about 2 days left on this journey.
We should return and speak to them in person about what happened here. Whatever these were delivered for, that can wait.
No, these people need these crystals.
Glem, who's been on the outskirts, is kind of dealing with things inside the caravan himself, hears you pondering over this and comes over and says, guys, we need to take these to ArrowWatch. It's dire importance, unless you don't want to get paid.
Paid? If what we saw here today, what a minute without a crystal can do to a group of people, imagine what the people in these towns are dealing with without crystals. The pay isn't as important as making sure these people are safe. What a small, greedy man you are.
Well, I never. Well, anyway, I just need this stuff delivered. Or else, well, exactly what you said.
Just go back in the tent. We'll handle it.
Fine. Be in the caravan.
He kind of goes back into the caravan underneath the tarp.
I think we should deliver these. Like I said, I can summon for 3 hours, I can have an elemental hold the cart.
We have 2 days travel.
Yeah, so we need to find a way.
How far away were those? I remember on our way over here, DM, that we traveled by some demon horses we avoided. I know it's a tired subject, but
I don't think those demon horses are going to listen to us.
You were in the middle of Frostmoor and ArrowWatch. Chilford, that mountain area over there, is where the horses were. So it will be more time to get down there than it would be for you to get to ArrowWatch.
Oh yeah, that would make no sense. Wizard Horatio, is there any way you can turn yourself into some kind of animal or great beast and carry us to safety?
I could turn into a beast that will pull that, but then again, it would just be for an hour or 3 hours.
DM, as an adventurer of this plane, would I know of any local fauna that we could perhaps corral? Like, are there any, like, large, kind of even like a moose or something? Are there mice here?
Well, you know that there are large beasts of labor. There are farms and things used here that you could probably look. But being on the open road, it's hard to get them because demons usually attack. And demons eat anything. So you can find them, though they take shelter in mountainous areas and places that are hard for a normal person to reach. But you can surely try to look for them.
Understood. There's an off chance we could find something to replace the horses, but I think that would be pretty difficult as well and would add days to the journey.
I agree. I mean, to be honest, I can't even turn into anything or summon anything until I've had a long rest because I'm currently expended right now.
So, Liberators, what do you want to do?
There's too much stuff that we couldn't each carry a few bags.
What about the portable hole?
When Duran mentions the portable hole, Horatio kind of and is like, wait, that would actually work. Can we fit all of this in the portable hole? DM?
What's currently in your portable hole?
Well, we got rid of the ore, so it would be a table, a chair, and the tomes of Rizor.
Yes, thinking about and seeing the different boxes of there, it looks like you would be able to fit all of them because you've used a lot of them to make this area. So what's left could surely fit into your portable hole.
Okay, so I say, oh, this should actually fit, you guys. Great idea, Duran. And he opens the portable hole and begins grabbing stuff and walking it in with his necklace. And then he'll take the first item in and stick his head out and be like, can you pass me another one, please?
Is anyone aiding Horatio as he's carrying the heavy boxes into the portable hole next to the caravan?
Duran will help him.
Still's probably pretty tired after digging that hole, collecting the tags. And I'll probably just be resting. He's pretty tired.
Okay. And Cal?
I would probably be staying by the fire, saying prayers in Infernal to and for Kalemvor, saying prayers for some of the names that I had seen, specifically giving them guidance on reaching the afterlife.
Minako will also just be praying by the fire, sort of sadly looking on. Whenever I see these things happen, and I know it's happening every day, I just think that hope is something that we can't really.
That's the truth. And death is a natural part of things, but when this type of thing happens, it's just not right.
I mean, we grew up. I spent my whole life, and still, it happens every time. And still, whenever we go, I see it. It's just, it's all so senseless.
You're right, and that's why I've been doing what I do. I'm glad that you and the rest of the Liberators are all here, because I feel like I find some strength knowing that there's others trying to get rid of these terrible forces. Maybe we can find a way to end it.
We fight all we can, but it's endless. I hope you're right. I just don't know if that's going to be possible.
We have to try.
She just looks up at you and then looks down and says, I don't think I can stand being here anymore. I need to be alone. And she just leaves.
That's fine. I'll stay with them. And I continue to stay there, watching as the fire burns.
While we're moving things into the hole, Duran is going to try to broach the topic of his new magic sword. Wizard Horatio, I was hoping you could help me with some questions about something magic.
Give me 1 second, Duran. And Horatio kind of sits there and starts muttering some arcane words, and suddenly nothing happens, and he starts giving you his full attention, and out of the corner of your eyes, you'll see a box lift itself up and just start floating over to the portable hole as Horatio casts Unseen Servant.
All right. Are you virtually casting that, or are you using a spell slot?
I would just use a spell slot to cast it. I'm looking at my book and using a spell slot.
You successfully summon an unseen servant. You obviously can't see it, but you feel its presence and can issue a command if you so choose.
Yeah, I just told it to take all the stuff into the hole so that Duran can talk to me about magic.
Wow. I'm always impressed by what magic can do, Wizard Horatio. Anyway, yes, I was hoping you could tell me about this. And Duran takes his new dwarven blade out and presents it to Horatio.
Do you want me to identify to see if it has any magical properties, or?
I don't know how to explain it, but it seems different from other magic, if that makes sense, Wizard Horatio.
Okay.
Duran kind of, he's gonna pull out an arrow and hold it up to the blade, and then let the magnetism hold the arrow to the blade.
Horatio would understand that that's just a magnet.
Yes, you read tons of books on magnetism, and it exists, and you see the metal tip of the arrow fly directly towards the tip of the blade, kind of shooting across and standing at attention almost.
I say, magnetism. All right, so I don't know enough about magnetism, so I'm going to sound like an idiot, but I'm going to just make shit up. Well, that's just, that happens when two metals kind of hold to each other and they just hold still. That's not really magic per se. But let me just give it a go just to see. And I pull out my black pearl and I start casting Identify.
All right, so as the unseen servant is carrying the boxes into there, and it makes good time. So within that 10 minutes, it's able to get most of it in. You complete your identification and words kind of appear into your mind. You read that it is a magnetic blade. As a bonus action, as a reaction, the user can reflect a metal projectile. That's a metal projectile towards them, such as an arrow or a bullet, things like that, depending after making a successful dexterity check. You also read that with each strike of the blade, it gains momentum, kinetic force, and gets 1d6 extra every time a successful hit is placed in there. This is things that Duran already knows, being attuned to it. But something that he may not know that you're picking up with your Identify is something strange. It's not magic. It's an energy. Roll me a history check. 21. As you delve deeper into the makings of this strange item, you feel an energy almost. familiar to you, but different. When you think upon the ores that you found, how you found it within the dungeon, the cursed void, that void-like energy that was all around you at that time sort of comes off of this blade, but not in a malice energy that you felt before, more of a neutral force. But it's definitely not magic. The only word that pops into your head when you think about this is chaos or chaotic, but you're not sure what that means or how that's into play when it comes to this blade.
That is a very interesting blade, Duran. Did we get rid of all of the ore that was used to make this blade?
Oh, I do not know, Wizard Horatio, but I know he used a great deal of it.
We should go back to that blacksmith when we get back and see if he still has any.
Yes, but Wizard Horatio, can you explain to me how the magic of it works?
Oh, I'm sorry. Atoms are arranged in such a way that they allow conductivity, sort of like a chaos energy in a way, to just help pull items or bullets even to the blade. This is a very good defense weapon, Brian.
I see. Thank you, Wizard Horatio. These matters of magic are always confusing to me, and I'm always very thankful to be able to rely on you for this and for your help as a friend as well.
Little do you know, Duran, that every time you ask me a question, you're helping me.
He bows his head and he says, "Thank you for your lesson," in Elvish to him.
He replies in Elvish as well. You're welcome, friend. I mean, we can probably help out this unseen servant here to hurry the process along, and maybe we can rest up and get ready to make trek, right?
But I just wonder, with all of these bodies carried here like this and arranged like this, what were they planning?
I am not too sure, friend. I mean, we don't have sufficient data to come up with an explanation yet.
I'm worried that we are facing up against an enemy that has spent more time planning against us than we have spent time learning about them.
I think that with every new floor that we step into, that's going to be the case always.
Wizard Horatio, I'm trying to come up with new ways to fight these new enemies. When Galdrim was here, he reminded me that the way I was thinking of things was set in one mindset. I'd like to learn a new way of fighting to strategize better. Do you have any books that might help me?
You see Horatio's shock, and he's like, "Oh, absolutely. I mean, let me check." And I mean, I really don't have much but spell books. And I mean, are you trying to get into the use of magic?
Wizard Horatio, I've traveled with you all long enough to know that magic is just one of those things I don't think I'll ever be good at. But I'm thinking maybe there are other things I can use. Things like strategic tricks, poisons, perhaps.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I do have a book on potion crafting. Maybe that could help you. And I pull out my book of beginner's potion crafting, and I hand it to Duran. And I'm like, this could probably help you make some poisons. I've been kind of reading up on the flora life and what herbs to mix in order to get what, so we can always take some time to sit down and see what we can create.
Thank you again, Wizard Horatio. Your wisdom knows no limit.
Horatio chuckles and is like, thank you, Duran. You're a great friend, and I've been meaning to ask, are you okay with the whole, and he kind of looks down a little bit.
I had kept a very dark secret from Galdrim for a long time. I cannot blame him for if he may hold that against me, if he may even no longer consider me one of his brothers anymore. But I know that I trust Galdrim, and whatever he's doing now, I'm certain that it is something that will help save my people.
I don't think he's never going to speak to you again, Duran. He cares about you a lot, and from the bit of time that I've known or that I've dealt with Galdrim, he's very, very proud for his people. And if you were following your tribe rules, I think he'll come to understand that he is very intelligent. You just got to give him time, But you did what you felt was best, and you didn't let him know, so you should sleep with a clear conscience, friend.
I will sleep with a clear conscience once we take care of the ones responsible for this atrocity we saw today. Let's return back to the rest of them once we have finished putting all of these crystals away.
Yeah, I was just reading through some of my notes of prayers and things from the past, and I've also switched between pulling out my herbalism book to see if there's any unique flora around, and if I see any particular plant, I may pluck it and add it to my bag. Other than that, I will rest once either Horatio or Minako opens a dome.
All right. Cal, anything you're doing?
I'm just, I'm not saying any more prayers or anything, but I am just sitting next to the fire. Probably going to stay there until it burns out or until we leave. Both.
All right. Minako, what are you doing?
After seeing all of this, all of the corpses, even the massive funeral and everything, the emotional weight of it was a bit too much for her. So she retreated to the carriage to be alone. After probably casting Unseen Servant to help unload it, once the carriage is actually unloaded, she'll cast Leoman's Tiny Hut and create a sort of dome inside it and just sort of contemplate and not even read, but just sort of address the darkness.
All right. And Syl.
I'm probably still resting.
So, as you all finish your conversations and continue your prayers and reading, time flows by. The cool wind starting to blow, and you feel, although with your Viking realness outfits on, you do feel the chill in the air. As you all kind of listen in with your passive perceptions, you all can hear just off in the distance some scowls and growls. And all of you who are trained in Arcana, you can feel the Heaven's Root barrier protecting you, but every so often you kind of feel like a doof off the edges of where the barrier ends, showing either demons who are not smart enough walking into it and dying, or trying to get in but failing. But you do feel very protected, though, nonetheless. Is there anything else you want to do before bed? Or do you plan on continuing to head off in the evening?
I imagine we'll have dinner and stay here for the night. If that's not suggested immediately by anyone, it becomes clear that that's her intention as the smells of her cooking start coming from the caravan.
I say to Duran, you smell that? It smells like Monaco's cooking.
Well, that's one good thing about being out here, is that we were able to meet Minako and her cooking.
Yeah, this is great. Let's go. And he'll yell over, guys, I think Monaco's cooking, to everyone else.
Everyone, Monaco's cooking.
Glem immediately goes towards you, who's also in the other part of the caravan, and says, "Oh, hey, what you got cooking there? It smells pretty good."
Just a travel dish. Don't worry, you'll have some. And she kind of pushes him away from it.
Oh, okay. Well, I know. I love the food here. Can't wait to see what you whip up. Getting really hungry. I'll just be over there, waiting, starving.
Do you need any assistance, Minako?
Oh, if you want to help, please assist with the plating or with setting someplace for everyone to be able to enjoy it together, rather than just letting us sit wherever.
Oh, sure. And Horatio's unidentified servant and himself go into the portable hole and will pull out the table that's in there and then say, we should probably use... Do we have enough chairs?
There should be a few chairs in there too, and I'll help you get out the table and chairs.
And yeah, just brings that out so that we can set the food up there at least. I don't think there's enough chairs for everybody, so Horatio would just bring out the table and say, I don't have enough chairs, so maybe set the food up there and we could sit around the campfire and eat it.
It'll be ready in a minute, so she's stirring a pot over a little flame that she prestidigitated. It smells like savory soup of some sort, and she has noodles floating in it. But soon it's ready, and she just serves bowls out and passes them to an unseen servant of herself, which carries it down to everyone who is probably out by the campfire.
All right. So you all kind of gather around for dinner. Minako plates a delicious meal in front of all of you. Roll me a performance chance at advantage, Minako. 28. Yes. A beautiful meal made what looks like it would be a 5-star restaurant meal has been placed before all of you. Immediately taking the first seat, running up, you see the small gnome who's drooling over the food that's been placed before him.
Oh, this looks so good. Oh, I'm so hungry.
Duran just frowns.
It is my hope that in this sorrowful time, the food shall lift our spirits. Please enjoy.
You don't have to tell me twice. And he begins digging in immediately, not waiting for anyone else.
I'm gonna smack his hand as he goes to reach or try to.
Roll me a deck check versus his. As he kind of goes and put the food to his mouth, you smack her out of his hand, and the food drops onto the plate. And he goes, hey, what's that for?
It is rude and disrespectful to start in such a uncivilized manner. We are in the wilderness and attacked by demons, but you would not be here if it was not for all of them. And I'll gesture broadly towards the group of us. I'll start saying we thank you, Myliki, we thank you, Nyx, we thank you, Kalimvor, we thank you for the land, and and just start to start a prayer. And then I will put my hands out to join hands and offer to the people next to me.
Horatio just kind of bows his head and doesn't close his eyes, but just keeps his head bowed.
After I finish the quick prayer, I'll look towards Minako and gives a bow towards her, a head nod, and then I will say, "Now let the festivities begin." And I'll wait for everyone else to take their fair share, and I'll get mine last.
As you say that, Glenn immediately starts to continue eating, shoving the food down his throat. So is there anything else someone wants to do? Or do you want to just eat dinner and head to bed?
Is the fire still going?
Yeah, because this it doesn't take Minako long to make this, and the fire, although has started to dim down a little bit over this time, it's still going.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna burn for a while.
Minako notices that Cal is off by himself and makes sure to bring him a bowl.
Thank you, Minako.
Thank you for watching over them, but wouldn't you be more comfortable with the rest of us?
I will join you as soon as I can.
She just nods and leads you to it.
Still, do you join, or are you still off resting alone?
I'm sure I would eat, and then probably go by the fire, make sure it does go out before everybody sleeps.
Glenn finished eating his meal and gives his thanks towards Minako and everyone else, though it's very snarky, and heads toward into the caravan. He goes, "Well, are you gonna put up that thing to protect us again? Cause, great job with the Heavens Root and all, but I would be more comfortable if you magic folks, put up a dome of protection."
We will be putting one up before bed, yes.
Excellent. Well, in that case, I'm just gonna go and rest. Tulu? And he hops into one of the two caravans and closes the flaps.
Is it this bad, other worlds?
Honestly, it wasn't this bad in the one before. At least, I don't think it was. We never encountered random demons throughout.
There were other problems. Each world has its own unique characteristics.
But was there so much death?
There was death, for sure, unfortunately.
That is one feature all of the worlds seem to share.
We'd better get to sleep.
Before you set up your tents, could I speak with you alone for a moment?
Oh, of course.
And then I'll walk towards where Cal is, so that way I could speak to the two of them alone together. And then we don't need to be it's not super secretive, but I just wanted it to be a private moment with the three of us. And once we are together, I'll say, I just wanted to thank the both of you, and I really do believe that our gods, and I'll nod, and goddesses watch over us and guide us together. And then I'll go towards a inner pocket in my pouch, and I'll pull out two little boxes, or a box, and I'll open it up and I'll say, I just wanted to I wanted to gift you with these rings, and know that you are one with me when you wear them, and I can protect you. And I'll present 2 platinum rings, one to each of you. And then I will also show mine that matches. And I'll say, I only give these rings, these blessed rings, to people who I consider my true allies. And then I'll put my hands forward so that I can take them.
Thank you. I'm touched, King. And she takes it and tries to put it on her finger, and it kind of slides off. And then she picks it back up and puts it on a larger finger.
Cal graciously takes the ring. Thank you, King.
And then, now that you've put them both on, I'll put my hands out to grab each of your hands.
Yeah, she reciprocates.
I will say, I bind myself and offer my faith as a shield to you. I am your protector, as you are mine, and with these words, we shall combine. And I will twin warding bond, and the ring will have a slight glow and a now also bear like a etched vine symbol, or like a image around the ring itself that was not there. And you will feel this like warm presence wrap around you, and I'll say, I will protect you, and I offer you my shelter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Monako looks down, seeming guilty for some reason.
Anyway, I think we should get to bed. We had quite a day.
Thank you. And she'll look over at Cal and say, I'll stay with the fire tonight. Get some rest.
Thank you. And at this point, I am completely exhausted from being focused on this fire and the entire day. And I'll go kind of following King's footsteps back to the caravan fire and the rest of the party.
All right, Monako, King, Cal, I need you all to roll me religion checks at advantage. As you all leave each other, heading back to your own individual areas that you've chosen, you look at the band that all three of you carry. It begins to glow. King, for you, it's a kind of a green hue, similar to what you feel from Mylaki. And Monako, yours swirls with a blanket of deep black onyx, and you feel the presence of Nyx. And Cal, yours glows this white light with a hue of darkness entwined into it. You feel the presence of Kalimver, and it begins to soothe your soul. You feel comfortable. This meeting is not perchance. It's fate. And your fates are intertwined. You feel that now. And you all gain 1d8 inspiration. That lasts until the end. That just lasts until whenever you decide to use it. All right? Anything anybody else wants to do before bed?
Well, before the night is over, Duran wants to approach Monako about the horses. Monako.
Oh, Duran.
Once again, incredible dinner that you've made for us. I'm truly impressed by your skills in the kitchen or the hearth. Unfortunately, we lost the horses during the battle, but I was wondering if we could turn the horses into rations. Maybe assist us in our journey in another way.
She looks concerned that you would bring that up. Horses? You want to eat the horses?
Yes, and with your seasoning, they should be perfect.
Well, I don't know much about butchering, but I could cook horse meat, I suppose. She seems really like off-put by this idea.
Hold on, can I roll? How obvious is it that she seems off-put? Like super obvious?
Your natural insight picks it up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Monako. I did not know if I have said something that seems wrong.
Well, I mean, they did give their lives in service to us. It seems wrong to eat them.
To me, it seems that they have given all that they could in service to us, and we should respect their deaths and utilize them as much as we can for our success.
Well, I've never thought of it that way. If you know anything about retrieving good meat from the horse, I could help you. I know a bit about preserving techniques with salt.
I'm afraid I do not know much of preserving meats and survivalism, though I do think that some may know. I thought you would too, being a master of the hearth.
If you want to try to cut up the horses that lay dead on the ground, you can surely roll a survival check, or I would even say a medicine check. I would allow that as well, to see if you can get the good meat. If you're doing it together, you can, whichever one of you can roll that at advantage. But the choice is up to you.
All right.
Duran remembers from earlier in this campaign when they tried to butcher cactuses in the desert, and they ended up with mouths full of sharp, spiky cactus bits. Monako, I think it might be better if you do this and I just assist you.
Oh, okay. Could you lift its leg? I gotta kind of get cut around this big hole it has in it and she'll take a butcher knife and kind of like look away as she does her best to carve some good meat with Duran's assistance and to salvage some rations from the horses.
When we lost our horses back in the top lair, we would always honor our horses by eating them. It was a harsh survival on the top lair, so we couldn't waste anything.
Monako, you go over to the horse and using your carving tools, and you're used to a blade when it comes to cutting meat and other culinary arts. So you're able to pull a good amount of meat from the horses. You butcher them and carefully remove all the parts that are inedible and get clean slab of horse steak slabs.
She will take the liberty to ritual class purify food and drink on the food after carving it out, just to make sure it's not rancid or infected with demon magic or something.
All right. You go ahead and take the 10 minutes to cleanse the steaks, and there definitely seemed to have been some type of toxin that might have been placed in there, but you managed to completely clean it, cure it, and it's ready for you. Cook it.
She'll do her best to add spices and such, and then preserve it in some paper or something for later.
All right. So, with the rest of the bodies placed aside of the horse, I mean, they're heavy, but with the two of you, you are able to put them back in a respectful position.
Should I add horse meat to my inventory, or should I just add rations?
So they're not turned into rations yet, so we'll just say horse meat. 2 sets of horse meat, and I'll let you know what a set is once I figure it out. I don't know how much steak a horse can give.
I think Peter is going to have our heads for this.
It's fantasy.
It's still, they don't care. It's a horse.
And as Duran said, this is a very tribal way of respecting the horses after giving as much as they gave.
Oh no, it makes sense RP-wise. It's just, they're going to come for it.
Oh my god. So, Liberators, the evening is well upon you. Your eyes go heavy. Is there anything anybody else wants to do before bed?
No. Horatio would just say, all right, I got a dome by the caravan tonight, and go and set up the dome.
Okay. You cast your dome, using it to perfect temperature and atmosphere inside that help blanket the putrid smell of the burning flesh not too far from you. Cal, are you repairing your guns?
Yes.
They were pretty badly damaged, so I'm going to need you to roll for me your tinker check.
Oh, what was the tinker's tools check?
It was your intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus.
Oh yeah.
Are you in the dome?
Yes?
Okay, can I jump in? Because I specifically yelled at you and I was like, stop fucking with those guns and help us pray. So now that I see that you're praying or fixing your guns, I'll sort of walk over and I'll say or scooch over towards you and I'll say, I'm sorry for shouting at you during the battle. I hope that your pistols still work.
Well, we'll soon see.
Well, they are in the service of quite good things, so hopefully Miley will guide you. Oh fuck, I was gonna cast guidance on you.
Oh.
That's fine, you can still cast the guidance.
Okay.
I get that you were doing that. Just roll a d4. Okay. A 12. King, as you give your words of encouragement and blessing towards Cal, you see him start to fiddle and work on his weapons. It does take him some time, so unless you stand there the entire time he's doing it, you're not sure how it comes out. But Cal, during the evening, you manage to repair your weapons back to their original state. There's still some dirt here and there you couldn't get out, and with the help of King, you do manage to successfully repair the weapons.
Excellent. Well, that's good news.
How do you make those ones more special like those ones? And I'm pointing to the non-magical versus magical ones.
Well, these ones, these were my adoptive father's set of revolvers, actually, and the day I lost him, Kalemvor, I guess you could say, gave me a guiding shot and imbued just a little bit of his power, his magic into these revolvers. And it allows me to more easily channel my own divine smite.
It makes me proud to know that you are a chosen as well.
Chosen's a big word.
I didn't choose you. They did.
Oh, I know. I am aware of it every day.
I'll make a small chat with Cal for half an hour or an hour, but then I'll probably go to sleep as it's probably pretty late and I need a full night's rest. It's been fun chatting, Cal.
Yeah, I should get to bed too. It's been quite a day, and I am extremely drained.
We're already snoring.
Okay. Well, doesn't take much, I guess.
All right, so Cal, you spend the next hour or so preparing it, and like I said, it prepares nicely, and you flip around the barrel and see that the chambers are all clean, the bullets fit in nicely, reloading them one by one, and you successfully repair all of your broken weapons. So, as the worries of the day and the trials and tribulations you all went through wash over you, and the energy of slumber hits you, causing you all to go to sleep, we will take a break and catch back up in the morning. Hey there, Dungeon Delvers. Thank you for listening. I wanted to take this time to thank our vendors, composers, and collaborators who worked so hard in bringing A Tale of D20s to life. Starting with Frank Freire, who drew the portraits for the player characters, Manuel Lapuca, who created our orchestral soundtrack, Kyle Misko, who created our main theme, night theme, and mystical theme, Christian Yuki, who created our heavy metal theme songs, Jan Rosa, for letting us use their soundtrack Continuum, and Dave Chappell for letting us use his End of Silence, A World of Color soundtrack. You can find more information on all of these artists at ataleofd20s.com. So, click on to part 2 and we can continue our epic tale.